Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy 2022. Welcome back to Faith Family Focus. I am one of your co-hosts, Faith Suggs, former Duke women's basketball graduate and currently CEO and founder of my company, Brand by Faith, a social media and branding company dedicated to telling the digital stories of our clients. This wonderful man next to me is my father, Schaefer Suggs, former NFL player with the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals, and has also served as the vice president and on the executive board with the RPFPC, the NFLPA Chicago. Good morning, Dad. How are you?
Good morning, Faith. How are you?
Nothing. What is the cold like? I know the Midwest is shaken by some freezing air right now.
It's not. It's shaking or shaken. Both. It's both. It's freezing here. I'm trying to look at the weather right now. Right now it is. I'm sure it's pretty much. I'm sure it's single digits.
We're on 12 today. It was 9 the other day when I landed. Looking for a heat wave, a good 25, hopefully. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Good morning. Yeah, no. You know what? It's crazy. As soon as January hit, immediate snow, immediate cold weather. December was a breeze. No snow. Some nice 45 to 60 degree weather.
What's 9 here?
9. When is the last time? What is the coldest day you can say you've ever been in Chicago or Indiana?
Well, I think we all experienced that cold weather about 2 or 3 years ago when it was like 30, 40 degrees below zero, and they shut down all the businesses. That had to be maybe 3 years ago, I think it was, but it was cold. But it's definitely very different than it has been. I mean, we've been very fortunate. December was a really good month weather-wise.
Yeah, very anti-weather climatic for sure. I don't think we've ever had a white Christmas. Maybe once we had one. But other than that, it's been freezing Christmas, or just cold Christmas. Or we've had the ones where the snow melts before Christmas and it's a beautiful day. So
right,
there's nothing where, weather in the Midwest and that run area by the lakes, you never know what you're going to get around December to January. But, once January hits, you're not going to be able to, you better get your plow out for sure. Get a couple inches over 4 average. So what's new? What's going on? How was your Christmas and holidays from your perspective?
Well, let's back up a little bit. So we haven't done a live show in a couple weeks, so this is kind of nice to be back live. Christmas was obviously very, very nice having you and Devin home. Actually, that was the first time 2 of you have been together for more than a few days. We were actually here for a week for Christmas. It's really nice, as you well know. You were here. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, Christmas was nice. Nice holiday break. Definitely at home longer than I should have been, in a positive way. Sometimes you just want to get moving. You want to get back to work where you normally used to be.
Yeah, you will be in your own space. I know.
But it was very nice. I think it was a hard Christmas because not a lot of people got to see their families, but we were very lucky, vaccinated, boosted, and we're not really outgoing people out in the world, but we definitely were safe, and it was just nice to be around family. And we did all our normal traditional routines, which we always discussed on the 2 previous shows on 42 about our traditions for the holidays and what we do and what we stick to. And it was nice. You got a new gift. You got a record player. Do you want to tell everybody about that discovery that you are now? It's your new thing now.
Well, not a discovery. It was just something that I've always wanted. Since a discovery. How about a Christmas present from you guys? It was really nice. It was like one of the best presents I've gotten in a long time because how much my music means to me. And I had a lot of my albums in storage. I have over 1,000 albums, all the way from when I was in high school, and I got them all alphabetized and by male, female, recording by different groups, and just been really nice to be able to play. And I'm surprised at how great shape they are in. I don't think I've played an album that has been damaged. So you got a chance to listen to some of the original Michael Jackson, Thriller. I have Off the Wall. Earth, Wind, and Fire. It goes on and on and on. I don't think you guys realize how many albums I had until you actually.
Well, we never seen them, not since we were little. Would you consider, like, what albums do you think nowadays would you add to your group of albums? Like, what would you add? Because there's a lot of great music now, and they're still selling stuff on vinyl.
Yeah, there's a lot of musicians. Of course, it's funny. I went to the really high-end stereo store, and I realized how I'm way behind time. That I used to be really up to date on stereo equipment and different types of receivers and turntables, and I thought I was in a spaceship. The new technologies out there. So, and then while I was there, they had a bunch of vinyl for sale, and I would because you have also CDs too. Almost most of the albums that I have, the really popular albums I have the CD version of them too.
Okay.
So the CD version, you're gonna get a clearer, crisper sound. But I was surprised how well the record player played, how clear it played. The sound that it displayed was pretty phenomenal. So I'm very happy with it. It doesn't take up that much space. It has Wi-Fi on it, has AM, has cassette, has also CD player on it. It's pretty neat. So
it's interesting you said CD, because it's funny, because CDs I don't think will ever make a comeback. I think that it's funny, vinyls and like record players and like records have come back. You know what I mean? They come full circle, and I feel like that's something that will always keep reoccurring. Like, it's not just vinyl, it's Polaroids are back, right? Polaroid cameras. And
well, tell everybody about your Polaroid.
Well, I've had a Polaroid for about 1.5 years now, but I had disposables cameras for Christmas, the ones you take to Walgreens and then you print the photos. You don't know how the photos are going to turn out until you print the film. Those are back. That's a big thing nowadays that's coming back. So it's not just vinyl, it's how we're taking photos now,
right?
Going full circle. It's interesting though that CDs, I don't think CDs will come back. That's my prediction. I just don't see us getting a CD player ever again, or DVDs for movies and stuff. It's just, I think that it's the stuff that you can hold in your hand that is a form of memory. You know what I mean? The form of pastime, because that's what came first was vinyl. So I don't know. That is really cool that all of this is starting to go full circle again.
Well,
and I didn't know you do all that.
Streaming music, you have everything right now. So many different ways to access music.
Right.
It's just great, but it's just nice, I think, for a hobby. I mean, to have CDs, to have the vinyl. I mean, those albums right now, I think I paid $5-6 for them. They're worth, $30-$40 a piece now.
They might be more than that.
Yeah, I know that the Michael Jackson Off the Wall album is worth a lot, and a lot of my albums, I like them so well that I have two albums of a lot of Happy New Year, Hazel.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, it's so nice to have our friends chimed in the New Year with us. So nice. But Faith, I really got, even today, I think your aunt is coming up to see us today. And she also really enjoyed when we were little listening to the record player. We used to stack the records on top of each other, and they would just play one right after the other. But it was nice.
Seeing it's timeless. Some things are timeless.
So what was your favorite Christmas present?
I got a lot of nice things. That's really, you know what I mean? I got a nice pair of Uggs. I got a bunch of jewelry. I got candles. I just got a lot of things that I asked for. You guys always say, I give my list. I don't play around with my list. For those of you who don't know, I made them submit their list about 2 weeks prior to Christmas so I could get it all done. And I didn't get anybody's list until maybe the day after I had told them they needed to get their due date in. But I executed. I think I gave the best presents of Christmas. That's about normal. But, women, we're good at that stuff. But no, I loved my presents. I got a lot. I love candles. I love those White Barn candles. Something about they like, you buy the Yankee candles and the White Barn candles, and White Barn is off of Bed Bath Beyond. Those, you can smell those throughout like a house. You know what I mean? Like, they're that powerful. The other ones, now that I'm looking back on it, I don't know why I've ever bought other candles before that. But then again, it makes you think, well, how many chemicals are in this candle that makes it go from one house to the other? That's how powerful it is. But it has been wonderful. I've loved it so much. And Christmas was nice. We got a lot of great presents. We're always great at presents. I think we're a big present family as well. But I think it's because we just like to give to one another, and we've created that culture of it. I don't know if we're, not a lot of people do that still. They don't do a lot of like the big gift presents, Santa, all that stuff. So we try to keep it together each year, even though Devin and I are both over the age of 20 now, which is crazy. But yeah, Devin asked for a scooter. For those of you who wonder, Devin is the ultimate, and Dad, we can dive into this, but I don't know if anybody else has another child this way, but Devin is very different with his gifts and what he requests yearly.
He's not different at all. He's always been the same.
Different from other children and other adult children. Let's clear that up. Some children grow up. Devin grows up, but brings everything that he played with
back.
Yeah. So like, he wanted a scooter this year. He got a scooter. He wanted a lightsaber. He got a lightsaber. He wanted those dimension glasses that you could play games on and they make you feel like you're in the room. He wanted those. He wants everything that's like not normal. And I don't know how he's going to get that scooter back to school.
Well, I'm confused because the first person I saw riding the scooter up the street was my daughter.
Well, he didn't. Here's the thing. That's another thing. He doesn't get excited for these things. I'm like, Devin, you got a scooter. And he's excited. He's like, yeah, I'll ride it. And I'm like, why did you ask for these things? I'll ride it.
You both were riding.
Tried to race. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on a scooter, probably college. And now that I rode it, both of us were out of breath. We were like, I don't know about this. The kick push scooters, I'm telling you. But, it's fun, though, to see him still tap into, like, that youthful side of
I like that.
Christmas and gifts. And
his lightsaber, too. That thing is pretty amazing.
Yeah, Devin's lightsaber is, like, over $100.
Probably.
Yeah,
those things are amazing. I came home and he was coming out of the apartment with it. He was going somewhere with it, going down the street, doing this with it. It was at night. It was so funny.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. We can't go in public with an adult lightsaber.
Yeah, well, that's your brother, so yeah.
But yeah, he wanted a lightsaber. Keeping the Christmas spirit alive. It is really cool, the gifts he asked for. I never asked. I asked for realistic gifts, things that we use.
So for our viewers, let's kind of talk about what's going on with us, the huddle. Going forward, what our plans are, and then I also want to dive into what's happening with sports and coming to the new year.
Yeah, and resolutions maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. Actually, let's hop into the resolutions first real quick, because I still don't know who my guest is for the huddle this week. Everyone's still coming back to work, barely surviving. Right. One of them. I got to find a way to go to the gym today. So that's another thing we discussed, is trying to figure out how to schedule your new year, because we set those resolutions. Okay, so Dad, I don't know if you know this, but people don't want to set resolutions anymore. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So many trends on Instagram, social media, Twitter, of people who said they don't want a resolution. They just want to. Well, first of all, how many times do you actually achieve your resolution?
Well, but it's still nice to set a goal, though.
I don't think that. Here's the thing. I think resolutions are goals that are too big. I think that one of the things I'm starting to see people shift more to is vision boards. You know what those are?
Yes, I saw your niece, your cousin, do a family vision board. That was really neat.
You create like ideas, all the things you want to achieve and focus on, and I think that to me is a better way of doing it. Now, of course, we all set our resolutions. We say, some people say they'll drop 20 pounds. Some people say they'll quit sugar. Some people say they won't drink all of January. And it's just like, I hope people achieve them, but a lot of people are like setting these goals more inside of a mindset instead of actual physical goals that they have to achieve. So instead of saying they'll maybe gain 15 pounds is what they're trying to do. Some people would just say, my goal is to eat healthier and eat more protein, eat more carbs, eat this, or work out heavier, and they'll change up their dynamics. And the mentality is more to do more for that. And then they'll blink and maybe I'll have gained 15 pounds. So I kind of like this change in things instead of the setting a direct goal of I'm going to, it's always diet. It's always diet. People always want to lose weight in the new year. Instead of losing weight or losing 15 pounds, I want to eat healthier, work out more, and then I'll lose 15 pounds. I like that. And I like the kind of the shift of it. I don't know, but your generation may still want resolutions. I don't know. Have you made any for this year?
I have not. I don't think I've made a New Year's resolution in a long time.
And this is the perfect example on why resolutions are dying.
Because, I'm a goal-oriented person. So it's like, why do I do it once a year? I mean, I try to live with that type of...
Always setting goals.
Right, always setting goals. So it's not something that, I'm going to set this one goal for the rest of the year. I'm going to constantly try to, work on staying healthy. We talk about the toolbox of life, spiritual, emotional, and mental toolbox that you got to continue to work on. I mean, if anything, strive on, they said it's not perfection, but just making progress. Just making progress every year.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you, because we did the inner winner toolbox, and we also did a couple shows on how to set goals. And from your perspective and some of maybe the things you have learned throughout your life, how would you suggest people approach the new year? Is it setting goals monthly? Is it setting achievable goals and then a broader goal?
Yeah, no, both. The achievable part of it is really key. Something that you can measure, something that you can achieve, something that's attainable. Those are the three things that I think is really important.
Why is it important to be able to have some achievable goals on there? I feel like I have an idea of why it's important, but why do you think it's important?
Well, having an opportunity to move, I hope to move that needle. A lot for your self-esteem. It gives you confidence. Yeah. A lot of things that we do in life, we are hesitant because of our confidence level. So it's really good to be able to give yourself, I call it when I coach, those little winning moments. You want to give yourself winning moments. And winning moments keeps you inspired. When you're inspired, you want more of that. That's why it's always good to have that, something that you got to stretch. I always say you don't succeed, you don't grow unless you get uncomfortable. So you got to get a little uncomfortable, but some people are starting from scratch. Some people, when they talk about their New Year's resolution, they're starting from scratch, and that's why they never hate it, So for me, it's just create an opportunity to have winning moments in your life.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Because I feel like sometimes goals are too big. Like sometimes and you know what? It's not that we know the goals are too big. We just are sometimes, you see somebody who can do 40 push-ups. And you're like, gosh, I used to be able to do 40 push-ups. I should be able to do 40 push-ups. I'm going to do 40 push-ups. I'm going to do 40 push-ups a day. And so now you're down this rabbit hole of setting yourself up for something not only did you not prepare for, right? Instead of maybe starting with 10 push-ups a day or 5 push-ups a day, you're going off, let me go for 40 push-ups a day. And you kind of burn yourself out to trying to do it. And now you're not achieving this goal. So now you have this mindset of, gosh, can I achieve anything? Right. And so then you try to set a new goal. And then now you have this routine of, or this habit of not completing or not finishing. And we know it's
setting attainable goals. That's getting back to what your question was. When you set goals, they have to be something that's obtainable.
100%. And I don't know. You're so right that we have to have achievable goals, and that's in all parts of our lives. And we just have to be able to have those small wins, like you said, because those small wins, sometimes those should be even goals that you set. Find ways to win this year, right? Find ways to achieve things this year for yourself so that you can constantly feel like you're growing and evolving and moving and moving,
You know what I also like as you grow in a relationship, when you have a relationship, and after you,
Mhm.
this resonates with you, is having a partner that you can hold accountable and hold you accountable.
Right.
When you set those, when you do that mission board or that whatever
Mhm.
it is, that's
Yeah.
helping growth. And I think that's why it's really important. I mean, as a family, we probably had a really good opportunity to do that. I think for the first time, we actually spent time with each other, sitting and actually talking, and that's what I really enjoyed the most. Now, in retrospect, maybe that would have been a good idea for us to maybe talk about doing a vacation or doing something that we haven't done in a long time.
Right.
Uh, but I think having someone else in your life that can hold you accountable, whether it's your friend, whether it's your significant other, whether it's your parent, I think that's something that when you do set goals, it really helps when somebody else is there rallying for you, an ally that's going to push you a little bit, that's going to inspire you a little bit. I think that's also important.
I think that that's actually something I spoke on the other day. It's one thing I do at the end of the year, and I haven't had a show since. So for the last full moon, which is called the cold moon, the last full moon of 2021, I always do this ritual or manifestation exercise for the new year. And what I do is, and those of you who don't know, women specifically are very much affected by the moon, right? And the gravity. And I started watching Will Smith's new show, The Earth. The Earth is he goes and he's learning all of these amazing things about things that we never have learned before about the science of the Earth and the moon and how we're constantly in motion. So the moon's always pulling at the Earth, right? And everything in the Earth is being pulled to the Earth. Energy, our everything, right? And women specifically, obviously, because we go through cycles monthly. And one thing that I have learned is every last full moon, I get a lot of energy. And so what I do is I write down the things I want to leave in 2021, and the things I want to achieve in 2022. And I started doing this 2 years ago, which I achieved. And I achieved actually a lot of the things on the list. And I burn it, set it on fire in a sink. I want to clarify that I burn it in the sink where I can set the fire, cool the fire back down if it gets too wild. I had a teammate, Linnea Belton, who set hers off in grass, and you can imagine how that went. But what I do, good morning. What I do is I set those goals and I burn them. And the process of burning them is I'm not only burning them to get rid of the old, but I'm setting the ashes and the amber off into the world to get this mindset of, okay, I'm going to achieve those things in 2022. And that's my way of kind of taking control of what I want to happen, right? And of course, you can't achieve everything on your list of what you want to do for 2022, but it's at least, I'm dedicating time to it. And I'm dedicating emotion to it. I'm dedicating intelligence to it so that I always remember what I'm doing. And by the end of 2021, I didn't remember what I manifested for 2021, right?
I like that.
But it's the fact that I'm setting out in the air. And so maybe the earth, God, anybody will keep me on track for the things that I hope for and the things I hope to let go. And so that's just something I do yearly. And I guess like you could say that's a form of resolution, but I think it's more leaning towards self-motivation and self-guiding. You know what I mean? Like understanding and having that conversation with yourself about the things you didn't like, things you do like, things you want to achieve. So that's something I did. I tried to get to Devin to do it. I don't know if he did it or not. I get everybody to do it. But it's just a cool way for me to, I don't know. It's a nice way to have conversations with yourself yearly. And that could be something we set goals as well. So yeah, but no, 2022 is something I like I said, and if you guys are just joining us, we had a conversation about not everybody wants to set resolutions anymore. No one wants to set goals. I don't know if it's because we didn't achieve anything the last 2 years besides just trying to survive this pandemic. To me, that's a big goal and a big achievement for a lot of us. But I think that one thing we are learning through 2021, and it's kind of trickling into 2022, is that just trying to do your best is now the new mindset. And sometimes I'd love that for us. I'd love that for people, because why do we set such high expectations to begin with? Doing your best, sometimes people don't realize those are the small steps each day that accompanies to achievement. You know what I mean? You succeed each day by making it to each day. And each day you achieve something, right? Maybe you woke up and actually made breakfast that day. So the next day, maybe you can now make breakfast lunch, right? It's just the small things, I don't know, that we're celebrating more, I think, after putting 2020 and 2021 in perspective. And I'm hoping 2022 we can get back on track and try to, tackle the big guns. But I don't know. I love the motivation that comes off of 2021, which is more just be happy where your feet are. Be where your feet are,
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's just a nicer mentality towards it all. Like 2020 and 2021 told us to slow down. And it's nice to slow down. You know what I mean? It's nice to slow down in our lives when so much is going on. And when you slow down, you can really understand who you are and where you are.
Yeah. You're speaking of this, there's so much, like we haven't talked in a long time. There's so much about this new year, 2022. I told you I'm really looking forward to 2023 because that's our favorite number. And this will be the only time of our lifetime that we would actually be able to have a year 2023. Hopefully, the grace of God, I'll be here in 2023, but that's our favorite number. But 2022 got here pretty quick. And I think 2020 was just a year of just recovering, and hopefully we can, even with the COVID, with the new virus, we're still able to navigate forward. I mean, we're still having some challenges, obviously, along the way, but I think people are responding accordingly, especially the sports world, corporate world. People are more working from home. A lot of the professional teams are just taking responsibility for the protocol. I mean, but the sports is continuing to go on, which is kind of nice, So
yeah,
really good.
It's interesting you say that because it's interesting. We're kind of starting to see now how we're going to operate with the virus
going forward. Yes,
how we're trying to make sure. Because at some point, and I remember back in 2020, the government and the CDC said that eventually we're going to have to operate with it like we operate with the flu, which the flu still kills a lot of people.
It does. Yes.
Right? And that's why we get flu shots. And I'm not, and it's just, you can see now we have the vaccines and the stuff that's in place for the flus and the COVID and everything we get growing up to prevent us from, because once measles and mumps was something, right? Once polio, once all these things were things, we created vaccines and we then just lived with it. And so now we're starting to see the world kind of operate. We're seeing the NBA, the NFL go, like you said, they have the protocols. You go on a protocol, then you come back. The CDC lowered the quarantine timeline to 5 days. And you can now get home COVID tests delivered. There was a time in 2020 we couldn't get a dang COVID test. Do you remember that? It was like everyone was freaking out and the COVID test cost $1,000.
Yeah, well, definitely there was opportunities for people to take advantage of our vulnerability. I mean, we took a couple tests early on that cost us $150, and they were popping up everywhere. These little rapid test places, and saying we don't accept insurance, and they're just, So fortunately, it's gotten better. I think less people are dying. I mean, it's more contagious. Because we do have a majority of people that are vaccinated, but because of the people that are not being vaccinated, that are not vaccinated, we still have an issue with
it mutates. Yeah, it mutates. That's what happens, and that's science. It's biology. When you don't, when you fight a virus with things, it mutates and creates ways to go around, how you're fighting it, which is the vaccines. It's just. Here's the thing about America in this country and how blessed we are to have freedom of speech. And we have always had the right to make our own decisions. And what's the name of that movie that we watched the other day with Leonardo DiCaprio? It's on Netflix.
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up.
Oh my God, great movie.
So if you guys don't know, Don't Look Up is on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, the young woman from Hunger Games. It's just Tyler Perry. It's a wonderful cast. And the basis of the movie is that there's a meteor coming towards Earth. And in 70 days or a year or something like that, eventually it will hit Earth and cause what happened with the dinosaurs. Because, when the dinosaurs died, the meteor hit Earth and it caused not only tsunamis, earthquakes, fires, wildfires, and no living being can survive that type of turmoil. So they took it to the government. The government said, we'll sit and assess this, and we'll put it on the back burner, and we'll see if we can do anything about it. And then they came back to it 3 months later after they took it to the media, and the government was in trouble for not taking initiative early enough, not taking the science and the scientists seriously. And then if you can't get our basis, it's very much similar to how the process of COVID-19 entered America.
Yeah. I was really Jennifer Lawrence is unbelievable in that movie.
Yep.
And then you have Meryl Streep. I mean, goodness, the actress they had on that show was unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I think they did it on purpose, and I think that that's a project that they wanted to do. And the project definitely had a mission, right? And the message and the under theme was very clear, right? It's how we fumbled COVID-19 as a world, as a nation, as a government. There's nothing we can do about it now, but we definitely, and you know what?
There were two messages, Faith. You said something that was pretty profound. There was two things that it was the global warming, and then also that how we handled the. There was two things I think that there was two narratives that I thought came out of that. And I think that you shared that.
Yeah, well, one of them is 100% the meteor. Well, I don't think meteor is global warming.
Right.
The meteor is something that because it's out of our control because it's in the universe.
Right.
How do you understand this? A meteor, and I learned this last night. It would take Earth. We spin on an axis. We're going like really, really, really fast as Earth. But because we are on Earth, we don't feel us moving. It would take us 200 million years to just get through one Milky Way. If you wrap your head around that, okay, it'll take us 200 million years to get. And another thing that I noticed, and I'm putting this stuff in perspective so you guys can understand all of this show and this movie and the stuff that we're learning from, because we're educating ourselves more and more. And I think that's really cool because we're only in 2022, right? We started the calendar. We're only in 2022. And they say that there are some things on this earth that have been growing for 150,000 years. Our calendar has only done 2022. If you wrap your head around that, you know what I mean? What we do on this earth, and this is something, a mindset I'm saying that movie really opened my eyes to it, is what you make of the time you have on earth, what you do with it on earth, how we treat one another. It's all really only important to yourself. Like you're doing it for you. You know what I mean? And the quality of life you have on earth is what you make it. And any day a meteor can come towards Earth. Now, do I know if we have the technology? Do I even know if a meteor has been coming towards Earth and we shot it down and we have no idea? Maybe, right? We don't know everything that goes on within NASA and all of that. But putting in perspective, and that show really opened my eyes, and then watching the Will Smith documentary about just studying Earth and all the things we do not know. Your time on Earth is very much dedicated to what you make it. Right? So take that trip, right? Take that drive, hang out with your friends, right? Stay up late that night so you can hang out. It's just, those are the things that puts in perspective. It takes us 200 million years to get through one Milky Way. That right there opened my eyes to a lot. And that movie, because we all have opinions and we all have freedom of speech and we all can, right, choose to look up or don't look up, right? Or get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. It's all in our hands, right? It's what you make. Life is what you make it, right? We can still be in COVID within 20 years, but some of us may have figured it out, and some of us still may be fighting COVID. I don't know, but life is what we make it, and I think that's a big thing that's going into 2022 is we've been so tunneled down 2020, 2021, and now I think people are ready to be like, let's explore, let's do this, let's make everything happen we can because life is too short.
Right. Yeah. Oh. There's been a lot of distractions that have steered people into the rabbit holes to immobilize them for any type of personal growth. And unfortunately, that has been a part of our narrative for the last 2 years. And I think your point, you put things in perspective, is very clear.
Yeah.
You can't waste a day, of your life. You got to take one day at a time and just really make the most out of it. So I think that's the one resolution going into 2022. Live each day like it's your last day. Live it, the things, like to talk about the trips that you want to take, the things that you want to do, all those things. Because, we've experienced some very devastating things in my lifetime. The COVID, 9/11. We've had some pretty, in our world's lifetime, we've had some pretty devastating events that has happened that has completely changed our world. And I think this COVID, the way that we live our lives, is going to change the way we live our lives. You watch the New Year's Eve celebration on Channel 7. Everybody had their mask on. Well, most people had their mask on, but no one's probably had all decorative and sparkles, but it's a part of who we are right now. So anyway.
Yeah. What I was telling you is that was probably the best time to go to Times Square, because now everybody was out there and you probably didn't have to wear a diaper. Now, seriously, because normally on Times Square for New Year's Eve, pre-COVID, you can't move.
I've done it once, Faith. I know.
You can't move.
You can't move. It's terrible. I will never, ever put myself in that situation again. Ever.
I don't want to be around any crowds. But that's another thing that probably changed for COVID-19 changes. We don't want to be around people as much as we once did. And people are more comfortable being on their own a little bit. We've had these shows talking about the holiday survival guide, and we talked about being on your own for the holidays. I saw some people choose to be at home alone for the holidays or just do their inner nuclear circle. Mom, dad, kids, right? Maybe grandparent that lives in home with them. They stuck to that. They kept that.
Yeah.
Or they didn't travel because of COVID. And that's a new thing we're making, right? Maybe we'll take the pressure of trying to find everybody and always be with family and get everybody gifts and all the things that we're supposed to do for Christmas instead of just enjoying where you are and making your own traditions. So we talked about that, but we got to really assess it as the holidays came and went. Got to watch how people really apply their new traditions as well.
Right.
But for the year, Dad, college football playoff championship is coming up. Who do you have?
Well, it's an SEC dominant. Between Georgia and Alabama, they've already played before. Alabama won the first time. It'll be a good game. There was definitely a significant drop off from Georgia, Alabama, and then to Michigan and Cincinnati based off the results of the game. So,
yep.
Not as excited about the college. I'm really excited about the NFL. I don't know if you saw the tantrum that Antonio Brown, he probably played his last football game ever.
I'm going to need a 30 for 30. I have to know what happened. I have to know why that man took off his outfit and just walked off.
He has some issues.
Oh no, I don't know anything about him. I don't know him, but I want to know what happened.
Right. But anyway, but not letting that dominate the most important part of the discussion is, I think, the playoffs. There's a bunch of teams that can be in the Super Bowl this year: Packers, Patriots, Kansas City, Buffalo, New England, the Titans. There's a couple teams that can actually be in the Super Bowl this year, which is going to be really interesting to watch.
So who do you have winning?
It's a toss up. I mean, the team that's playing, I think the team that's playing the best right now, the Packers are playing really, really well right now.
Of course, they are.
Kansas City was playing. Kansas City got beat yesterday, but so it's kind of hard. It's a hard indicator. Some teams go into that last game saying, "Okay, we made the playoffs. We're not going to play everybody. We're going to scale back."
Right.
So it's kind of hard to really gauge that. Sometimes it's good for a team. Sometimes it's not good for a team. The team is having a momentum. I wouldn't scale back, but a team that's really dominant, and they maybe secured the playoffs a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
But one thing,
interesting. It's a toss-up.
Yeah, well, I'm actually very interested to see because we're a month out.
Why do we always know when the Super Bowl is?
Because my birthday is on Super Bowl, so we always for some reason that was my birthday party. But one thing I will say about professional football compared to college sports in general, right? Professional sports, but the Super Bowl is one of our biggest moments in sports, right? And so one of the things I noticed last night when I was watching college sports, watching college basketball, which Duke beat Notre Dame last night, women, even though they're ranked higher than them, we haven't beat Notre Dame. Wow.
Has Duke lost a game yet?
Yeah, they lost to South Carolina, and they lost to one ACC team. I can't remember who.
Okay.
Virginia Tech. So, which is not a surprise either because it's the worst place to play ever. So one thing I will say about college sports compared to professional sports and Super Bowl process specifically, and you're talking about playing games, not playing games, and how your strength is schedule. In college basketball, and I can speak on this clearly, is college basketball, the strength of your schedule often predicts if you or if you won't get into the NCAA tournament. And so teams are bubble teams. We were bubble teams for a while. Duke was a bubble team. A lot of if you're ranked 5th to 8 or 5th to 10 within your conference, you're a bubble team. You have a possibility to get in, you have a possibility to not get in. So throughout the season, the teams you play in non-conference, you pick up a big boy like South Carolina, you pick up a big boy like a Duke, one of those, right? And your chance of beating them, you hope to beat them, right? Because if you beat them, you can kind of hopefully seclude your way into the tournament. However, if you don't beat them, you hope to lose by as small a margin as possible. And then, especially when conference play happens, right? And this is all stuff that's actually really interesting. Some people would understand. It's sometimes when you get into conference play, say Duke beat Notre Dame, right? Duke then has to hope Notre Dame beats Virginia Tech so that they can grab all the marbles, right? Because they lost to Virginia Tech, but because they beat Notre Dame and Notre Dame beat Virginia Tech, that is a double tally in their column to get them into the NCAA tournament at the end of the year, right? To play for the NCAA championship. So it's all a very particular. There's been many times where I've been in huddles at fourth quarter with 2 minutes to go. We're losing by 20, and Coach P goes, "Look, we got to cut it to 10 because now we're prepping for NCAA tournament selection time. Because if we lose to Notre Dame by 10, Virginia Tech lost to Notre Dame by 15, we have a better chance of getting into the NCAA tournament compared to Virginia Tech by a 5-point margin."
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So it's all, and so when you're talking about Super Bowl, you talk about NFL playoffs, and this is why I don't like college playoffs because it's all weird on the football side. I don't get it. But for basketball, you play so many more games. You can genuinely be strategic on getting your way into the tournament, right? But NFL football and Super Bowl is just that on steroids, right? Picking certain games to play, playing one person because they already beat somebody. That's a double gather. You know what I mean? So it's all very strategic on how you do it. There's so much going into it. But at the end of the day, if you don't win any games, you got to hope to lose by 1 touchdown. You got to hope to lose by 1 field goal. It's all very selective on how you do it because those tallies sometimes come to 1-point margins.
Yeah.
So just very interesting. That's something I've been watching, and I can't help but notice as I watch K-State play, I'm like, gosh, you guys got to lose this game by 4 points. You can't lose this game by 10, right? There's little things like that coaches have to factor into their coaching, even when they're losing.
Right. Hey, I want to pivot really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this question asked of me twice. about the portal. Can you explain to me what the college portal is and how it is impacting the college game?
Well, we don't have all day for this, but we could talk about that next Monday. I will give a quick summary because the portal is literally a 2-hour conversation. The college portal is this new thing. When you transfer now within the NCAA, you do not have to sit out a year. That is no longer a thing, which is wonderful, right? Originally, before, when you transfer from school to school, you have to sit out 1 year. If you transfer within school to school in the same conference, you have to sit out 2 years. So now with the portal, you transfer, you don't have to sit out a year. The portal is an opportunity for these kids, and it's kind of like I don't even know how to describe it besides a meat market. You toss your name in there, and college coaches from all over, Division I, II, and III, can see that your name jumped in, your stats from the previous seasons, footage of you playing, and they can.
Wait 1 second. So when I put my name in the portal, I'm actually actively at the school that I'm at. I'm at Ball State.
Yeah, but you've already decided you're not.
I've decided that I'm not going to play at Ball State anymore.
Right.
I contact. Is there a process that you have to go through?
No idea.
Okay.
But it's very simple.
Okay,
Simple.
Okay, so put your name in the portal. You're done with that team. You're done with Ball State.
You can't enter the portal without having a conversation with your staff. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to, hey, coach, I'm not coming back next year. I'm entering the portal.
Okay.
And then rumors go around and say so-and-so's entering the portal. So then college coaches see, oh, so-and-so entered the portal. And there's been, on the football side, there's been big names enter the portal this year. Out of Notre Dame, Michigan, like big ones, quarterbacks. And so if the portal right now in football is a mess. I know last year going into this season for 2021, 2022, there was at least 1,500 women's basketball player names in the portal. Everybody trying to fight. And there's still kids in the portal. They're entering the portal now, right? I had 2 girls I know transfer so far. And so, well, college coaches changes and stuff like that. But the portal is genuinely one of the greatest things that ever happened in NCAA because for advocating for athletes, NIL and the portal are great, right? For college coaches, it's great in the sense that you don't have to now recruit 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds. You can now go with the 2020 year. You only
got to get them for like 1 or 2 years, though, right?
Yes, but because of COVID and because of the year we had, some of those kids this will never happen again, right? They're never going to give your kids a year back. But because of the year that we're having, some college coaches are getting 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds with 2 more years that can play till 26, right? And so it's an amazing thing for college coaches right now because now the whole form of recruiting is different.
They have a whole nother pocket of recruiting opportunities other than the college. They have a whole nother pipeline of players that they can recruit from.
Yes, it was originally just high school students, prep school, and JUCO. Now it's high school, prep school, international, JUCO, transfer portal. And so, yes, it's amazing. It's also terrifying because you can lose a player like that to the portal, right? Your best player now has the accessibility to have a great year and now go free agent. It's professional, right? They can now be like, I had a great year at Duke. Let me go. I'm sorry, you wouldn't leave Duke. I had a great year. Stupid. To Tulane, I'm gonna go and try to play for Coach K. I'm gonna try to go play for John Shire at Duke. And so, like I said, the NCAA is shifting, and I don't know if they're trying to do this or not, but the power is shifting to the athlete. Yeah, now, what the athlete does with that power is up to them, right? If they want to ruin their career or they don't, it's up to them. However, it's a great opportunity for college basketball, college sports in general. It's going in the right direction. Now, like I said, if it goes in a direction that it's not supposed to, that's on the student athlete. It's not on the college coach. It's not. They can't block.
Let's make sure we talk about that next Monday. I think that's a whole nother topic. As we get into the end of football, we're seeing a lot of the portal situation. right?
Yeah, and we'll grab Shane and have him pop on, but and speak as much as he can about it. But it's definitely something that's crazy. It's definitely something that's crazy, and it would be a good conversation to talk about next Monday because we are in the middle of now starting conference play for basketball. We are in the middle of off season for football because they're now jumping, right? So normally they jump either right before conference play because they know they don't want to play there anymore, or they jump right after season, after those bowl games, right? Yeah. And right now,
a lot of guys are not playing in the bowl games, Faith. A lot of guys have said, no, I'm not going to play in the bowl game.
That's another thing we talk about because all those announcers right now are saying that those kids are soft, but those announcers aren't the ones like that we're getting $1 million contracts. These kids are getting. Okay, so I hear you. Call the kids soft. I call it strategic. Not playing the bowl game is not going to affect their stock when they're
right.
4-2 with a cannon. No, whatever.
Yeah, the opinions on some of the I'm pretty old school, but I think because I have younger kids, that I'm a little bit more progressive when it comes to these new changes, the NIL and the portal and all these different things, because I grew up at a time where there were so many restrictions.
And why? But see, that's another thing we have to stop as people, as we age and as we grow, trying to hold everybody to our standard of how we did things, because it's not the same.
Right.
It's not the same. These kids are professionals. They're professional athletes already. They're making money, right? They're not practicing in between games, likely. They're walking through. Okay? And we're seeing that these college athletes, they can get hurt like that. And just because you got hurt like that and your career was ruined, they're supposed to do it too?
Yeah.
If that helps you sleep at night.
I'm very blessed to have had my kids when I've had them, because now you guys really, I think I'm pretty progressive, but you guys really opened my eyes to how different it is. And I keep saying, well, it's not that different. It is so much different, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't mean one is better than the other. It just means it's different. One is not possible without the other.
Right. That's a very good statement. Yes.
But it's different. Right? The game is different. Each game you play is different, right? All the sports we see, how we work now, how we hold relationships, everything is different, and it's supposed to be, because if it was the same, that means we would still be in the same position we're at using vinyl. Right? You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't have Netflix. We wouldn't have technology that we have. We wouldn't have the Zion Williamsons of the world. We wouldn't have LeBron James. You have to grow, and you have to be willing to grow with it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's another thing we talk about. We talk about that next Monday. But wonderful show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Happy 2022. Happy New Year. What a crazy new year. We're excited to kick it off. Once again, this is Faith Family Focus. We use our faith. Once again, this Faith Family Focus. We use our stories and our adversity to talk about how to strengthen family core, the viewers around us. Welcome, everyone, back. We're so happy to see you all. And, of course, our slogan.
I love it. Let go, let God. Let go, let faith. Let go, let love.
Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday. We'll see you guys next week and hopefully Friday with the huddle.